Hi all, welcome to School Math, a quick recap of theorems for 10th board exam preparation. Real numbers, Theorem 1, Euclid's division lemma. Given any positive integers a and b, it can be represented in the form a equal to bq plus r, where q and r are unique integers and r is between 0 and b. Then theorem 2, fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Every composite number can be expressed as a product of prime, and this factorization will be unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occur. So, எந்த ஒரு composite number எடுத்துக்கிட்டாலும் it can be represented as product of prime and that factorization will be always unique. Theorem 3. Let P be a prime number if P divides A square, then P divides A, where A is a positive integer. Theorem 4. Root 2 is irrational. Theorem 5. Let X be a rational number whose decimal expansion terminate. X வந்து ஒரு rational number, அதோடைய decimal expansion வந்து it terminates. Then X can be expressed in the form of P by Q, where P and Q are co-prime. And the prime factorization of Q will be in the form of 2 power n into 5 power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. So, என்னது எந்த ஒரு x ஒரு rational number இருக்குது அதோட decimal expansion terminate ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா x can be expressed as P by Q, where Q வந்து அதோட prime factorization can be represented as 2 power n into 5 power m. Theorem 6. Let x equal to P by Q be a rational number such that the prime factorization of Q is in the form of 2 power n into 5 power m. Then x has a decimal expansion which it terminates. Theorem 7. Let x equal to P by Q, where P and Q are co-primes, such that the prime factorization of Q is not in the form of 2 power n into 5 power m. Then x has a decimal expansion which is non-terminating. Then triangles. Theorem 8. Basic proportionality theorem. If a line is drawn parallel to one side of a triangle to intersect the other two sides in distinct point, the other two sides are divided in the same proportion. Theorem 9. If a line divides any two sides of a triangle in the same ratio, then the line is parallel to the third side. Similarity of triangles. Theorem 10. Triple A similarity. If in two triangles, if the corresponding angles are equal, then the corresponding sides are in the same ratio, and hence the two triangles are similar. Theorem 11. Triple A similarity. If in two triangles, the sides of one triangle is proportional to the sides of the other triangle, then the corresponding angles are equal, and hence the two triangles are similar. Theorem 12. SAS similarity. If one angle of a triangle is equal to one angle of the other triangle and the sides including these angles are proportional, then two triangles are similar. Theorem 13. The ratio of area of two similar triangles is equal to the square of the ratio of their corresponding sides. Pythagoras theorem. Theorem 14. If a perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of a right angle to the hypotenuse, then the triangle on both sides of the perpendicular are similar to the whole triangle and to each other. Theorem 15. In a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Theorem 16. In a triangle, if square of one side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, then the angle opposite the first side is a right angle. Triangles congruency. Theorem 17. SAS. If two sides and the included angle of one triangle are equal to the two sides and the included angle of other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Theorem 18. ASA. If two angles and the included side of one triangle are equal to the two angles and included side of the other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Theorem 19, triple S. If three sides of one triangle are equal to the three sides of the other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Theorem 20, RHS. If in two right triangle, hypotenuse and one side of a triangle are equal to the hypotenuse and one side of other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Triangles. Theorem 21. Angles opposite to equal sides of an isosceles triangle are equal. Theorem 22. The sides opposite to equal angles of a triangle are equal. Theorem 23. If two sides of a triangle are unequal, the angle opposite to the longer side is larger. Theorem 24. If any triangle in any triangle, the side opposite to the larger angle is longer. Theorem 25. The sum of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the third side. Quadrilaterals. Theorem 26. The diagonal divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. Theorem 27. The opposite side of a parallelogram are equal. Theorem 28. The quadrilaterals in which each pair of opposite sides are equal are called parallelogram. Theorem 29. The opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. Theorem 30. If each pair of opposite angles are equal, then it is a parallelogram. Theorem 31. The diagonals bisect each other in a parallelogram. Theorem 32. If the diagonals bisect each other in a quadrilateral, then it's a parallelogram. Theorem 33. The opposite sides of a parallelogram are parallel and equal. Theorem 34. Midpoint theorem. The line that joins the midpoint of a triangle's two sides is parallel to the third side and is also half of the length of the third side. Parallelogram. Theorem 35. Parallelograms on the same base and between same parallels are equal in area. Theorem 36. Two triangles on the same base and between the same parallels are equal in area. Theorem 37. Two triangles having the same base and equal in area lie between the same parallels. Theorem 38. If a triangle and a parallelogram are on the common base and between the same parallels, then the area of the triangle is equal to half the area of the parallelogram. Circles. Theorem 39. The tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. Theorem 40. The length of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. Chord. Theorem 41. Two equal chords of a circle subtend equal angles at the center of the circle. Theorem 42. If two angles subtended at the center by two chords are equal, then the chords are of equal length. Theorem 43. The perpendicular to a chord bisects the chord if drawn from the center of the circle. Theorem 44. A straight line passing through the center of the circle bisects a chord is perpendicular to the chord. Theorem 45. Equal chords of a circle are equidistant from the center of the circle. Theorem 46. Chords of a circle which are at equal distance from the center are equal in length is also true. Theorem 47. Measure of angle subtended to any point on the circumference of the circle from the same arc is equal to half of the angle subtended at the center by the same arc. அதாவது என்னன்னா இப்போ இதான் ஒரு ஆர்க் BCங்கிறது ஒரு ஆர்க். இதுல இருந்து ஒரு ஆங்கிள் வந்து எங்க சர்க்கம்ஃபரன்ஸ் ஆஃப் த சர்க்கிள்க்கு இருக்கும், ஒன்னு வந்து டு த சென்டர் ஆஃப் த சர்க்கிள்க்கு இருக்கு. இப்போ the circumference of the circle உள்ள இந்த angle வந்து is equal to half of the angle subtended at the center of the circle by the same arc. Theorem 48. The opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Theorem 49. If two lines intersect each other, then the vertically opposite angles are equal. Then transversal lines intersecting the parallel line. Here, the pair of corresponding angles are equal. When a transversal line is intersecting two parallel lines, then the pair of corresponding angles are equal. Pair of alternate angles are equal. Pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal will be supplementary. Theorem 15. Lines parallel to the same line are parallel to each other. Theorem 51. Sum of angles of a triangle is 180 degree. Then exterior angle is equal to sum of the two interior opposite angles. So, in the session என்ன பார்த்திருக்கிறோம்னா class 10க்கு related ஆன எல்லா theoremsம் என்னங்கிறத பார்த்திருக்கிறோம். So, hope it will be useful for you during the examination timeல ஒரு 10 minutes இதை வந்து go through பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னா it will be very helpful and it will be ஒரு glance கொடுத்த மாதிரி இருக்கும் and ஒரு refresh பண்ண மாதிரி இருக்கும். Hope this will be helpful. Thank you.